Okay, in this video, we're going to take a look at the bandsaw, the parts of the bandsaw, as well as safe operation of it. Now, unlike the other saws that we've seen so far, the miter saw and the radial arm saw, this saw has a few more parts that can be adjusted. This also isn't a saw that only specifically cuts rip cross cuts or rip cuts. It can actually do rip cuts, cross cuts, and even curves. We'll show you that as we get through. Here we still have a table and we have a fence. The fence is here for making those straight cuts, but it doesn't have to be used for making curve cuts. However, all of our boards are going to need to stay nice and flat to the table. The power switch is over here on the side. It actually takes two sides. You gotta grab both sides to pull it out to get it to turn on. And then we have a blade guard here. This is important that we adjust this. This is what's going to keep our hands nice and safe, as well as allow bigger or smaller boards to go through here. So let's take a look at how to adjust the bandsaw blade guard, because there's a couple of steps, and if you do it wrong, you can really break the machine. So let's take a look at that. Okay, here we are around to the back side of the saw blade, and here's our blade guard again. Now this can raise up and down on these little gears here, and this handle actually is what adjusts it. However, very importantly, it is locked in place by this little knob. So we must loosen this first, and then we can crank this up or down. I always go the wrong way, but we can crank it up or down. And you can see we can get a lot of height on here, so we can make a really tall cut. In fact, we can go about 12 inches in depth. Rarely ever need that. But when you're setting this, you're going to want to lower this down so that you are just about a ½ inch or so above the height of your cut, so that you're sitting here saying, well, here's my board, here's how much space I want to have. If the tighter space, the less likely it is that you can put your hand through here. So this is something to check every time you use the saw. Make sure you adjust it for your height. When you're done adjusting, give this a little snug tightening in the back, and we're all set and ready to go. Now that we have our blade guard adjusted for our board, we can make a straight cut. Using a straight cut, we're going to use the fence. We can adjust this here, slide it over to be wherever we want to go, and we can line this up to make our cut. This is still a tight spot for my hand to go through, so on the saw you'll find one of these push sticks. This is easy to push that board through. To make this cut, I'm going to keep it held tight to the fence here. I don't want to push into the blade. I'm going to hold it here against the fence. I'm going to turn on the saw, and we're just going to guide it right through. This saw takes a second to get the full speed like most, so give it a second there and we'll make our cut. And there we have a nice straight rip piece off of this board. So as you can see, the bandsaw is great for making straight cuts, but it can also make curved cuts. So if you've got a cut that looks more like this, we can do that here on the bandsaw as well. The first thing to do when doing that is to move your fence out of the way so you have a lot of space to make your clearance. When making this curve cut, we're going to be lining up our line with that blade. We want to be going in the direction of that cut. We don't want to go in straight if the curve is coming off to the side. We're going to turn this on and just slowly work our way through. Okay, so as you can see, whether you're making straight cuts or curve cuts, rip cuts, or even cross cuts, you can do all of these things here at the bandsaw. It's not always the highest quality. Our rip cuts have a little love that can be done to them, but we can take care of those things and other tools as well. But this is the only saw we're going to be having here that we can make these curve cuts. So it's really useful to have this in our repertoire of tools to use.